Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today, I'd like to speak with you about the opposite of what we spoke last time, which is uh, preparation for the peace to come. I think in order to have peace, normally people have some differences, and you cannot live with differences without resolving them because they could escalate to a point that you have confrontation of war, and this was the situation from the beginning of history until today. People sometimes succeed with diplomatic effort to avoid wars. However, if there is no way to avoid war, if there is no way that discussion and talking can succeed, then the world or the countries or the individual, if two individuals are in dispute of something and they cannot resolve this by talking about it and finding an answer, sometimes violence have to take place. The violence takes place to settle. I'm not saying we should resort to violence, because violence, honestly, it's the most primitive way to settle any differences. But sometimes there is no way to settle the differences other than war or fighting. Okay? So today we see that there is a definite confrontation between two ideology, one of them of two sides. The democratic system, that's one ideology, or the dictatorship system, and that's another ideology. The dictatorship ideology actually consists of socialism on one hand and Islam on the other hand. Both of them are practically the same, except that Karl Marx, Muhammad, the founder of Islam, I must give him credit for his intelligence. He was an illiterate man, but he was smart. He was not stupid. Okay? He was smarter than Karl Marx. Karl Marx put human ideology to control humanity. Should we have a better or smarter man than Karl Marx, who comes with another system other than socialism? It will be very easy really to switch. However, when you put Allah in the picture, and this teaching is coming from Allah, and it's the final word for humanity, who could challenge this? No one. No one. And that's why I say Muhammad, even though he was illiterate, he was not stupid. He was smarter than Karl Marx in that respect. Now, how to prepare for peace? Normally, after the confrontation, if it reaches the violence, like in the First World War, Second World War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, whatever war, you settle your differences, and one is victor and one is vanquished. Now, hopefully it doesn't reach that level. What inspired me to make this video is a person who have asked me a question: what is the choice of gun that he or she should buy? And this is a very good question, in my opinion. And if we look at America, the founding father, when they put the Second Amendment, they did not put any limit on what kind of weapon the civilians should have. That means, reality is, I think that the public should have automatic machine guns. I don't know why, I don't understand why the public should not have machine guns. If the police forces and the military could carry machine guns, why not the public? The answer normally, what if a person loses his mind and starts spray people with bullets? That's true. That's a legitimate concern. But you don't take away my freedom, because freedom, it always requires taking chances. Okay? You take chances on freedom. Let's say when you drive a car, every time you get into this car, you're taking chances. You could get killed in this car. You could get badly injured. You're taking chances. But you enjoy your freedom to move from one place to another, from point A to point B. Alright? That's the enjoyment of freedom. And you know there is a risk and you could be hurt on the way. Yes, I understand that. Okay? And it is the same for carrying firearm, because there are people, especially in the government, because power corrupts. There is a bad part in all of us human, and that part, oftentimes when people get to the high authority, it looks like they think they think of themselves as gods, or invincible, or they can do whatever they want and they can get away with it. They can rape, they can steal, they can do whatever they want. And therefore, the ultimate check and balance is actually done by the public. We, the people who pay the tax dollars, we pay their salary, and we have the right to hold them accountable for what they are doing. I really suggest all public offices for the governments, they should be having surveillance cameras, that people can go at any time and turn their computer and see what the mayor of the city is doing. If he's using his time wisely, or is he playing around, is he fiddling around, everything should be open to the public. However, these days they act and behave as gods. Here in America, I live in America, and here in America it is still somewhat, people have a voice and they speak when something wrong. However, in the dictatorship countries, whether it's Muslim or socialist countries, what they do in the beginning, they confiscate guns, whatever they call it, mandatory buyback. Practically, we will take your gun, like it or not. We'll take your weapons, like it or not. Once this happens, they can do whatever they want. And if you really examine the whole of the system on earth, everything from the insect to human being. Well, human beings invent weapon, but every animal, even plants, have defense system so that they don't get eaten easily by animals or insects. They have a defensive system. Only man invent weapon to survive and to defend himself. And when you make a law to prevent him from protecting himself or herself, then you have a different agenda. That is, it's not in the best of my interest. Okay? So here, the answer to his question, the public in the real sense should have more firepower, more weapons than the military, than the police. We pay their salary. Our tax dollar pay their salary. We tell them what to do. And unless we have the means to tell them and make them follow up, our words will mean nothing. Okay? For example, you have many European countries and Asian countries like Japan, South Korea, most of Europe. They have freedom of speech. Big deal. Okay? You can talk. But when it comes to action, the government decide what to be done. And if you don't like it, the police forces paid by your tax dollar go on the street and put you in jail. Why? Because they have the guns. They have what you don't have. But if all people, everyone, have equal weapon or more weapon, more powerful weapons than the police or the army, then the highest word is for the people, for the public to decide what they want. So we see now there is Antifa, there is BLM, Black Lives Matters, and so on and so forth. Add to this has not yet happened. But if it gets worse, and in my opinion, after the election, it could actually, we could see more violence after November election, and it will be more violence if this Biden wins, because they think they can get away with anything if they demonstrate and use violence, and the veterans will not allow that to happen, and there will be clash and confrontation. Okay, so the best thing is to have the highest firepower you can get your hand on, get it. But my suggestion is to also check with your state law. If the state, like some states like New Jersey, for example, California, some states in the United States already got rid of guns, that has to be changed. These states, the people in these states have to petition that law and change it. The American Constitution gives the public the right to keep and bear arms. Okay? Why California is I know why and when it happened, but no, that was wrong from President Reagan to not allow the people to carry arms, to carry weapons. Okay, so whatever state, that has to be changed back. Every American has the right to keep and bear arms. Alright? What type of arms? The highest you can get. And when you get it legally, I mean, if your state does not allow it, you have to work with everyone to change the law in the state first. Second, when you get your firearm, you have to learn how to use it properly. So I suggest to hook up with veterans and make plans also in preparation for peace, because there will be violence. And these guys who are thinking that they can control everybody by demonstrating and destroying and killing and intimidating, they have to see teeth that bites. Okay? Even if they go and purchase firearms, the veterans are more experienced, and everyone should learn from them and make plan how tactical plans. Women should be involved in this too. All right? China now is extending, not China as the country, but the Chinese Communist Party is trying to communize or make the whole world socialist system after it failed in all countries all over the world. I mean, look at Venezuela. People are eating rats, whatever they find on the street, from the garbage. And the elites are living luxurious life. Expensive wine, caviar, all the food that they want. Huh? And the average person cannot even fish. Because fishing, this is national resource. You should not touch it. It belongs to the elite. So we are coming to a point now that that separation already took place, and to try to at least maybe there is still hope that these people can be talked out of this tantrum they throw, and they go out destroying businesses and destroying lives. They can see that this will lead to a dead end, and they come out of that, and the country can go on the right track. But we don't know that this will happen. So if it doesn't happen, we have to be prepared to confront them. It's violence, and we should have the upper hand in violence. I'm not advocating violence, but if somebody is coming at me in violence with, let's say, an axe, I will shoot him before he comes near me. And my conscience is so clear. My conscience will be so clear. Alright? I would like to speak about India, because India now, the Chinese Communist Party, India has border with China, and India is a force to be reckoned with. And India technologically is a very advanced country now, but it has a lot of resources, and China, or the Chinese Communist Party rather, is trying to have confrontation. Okay? and they use anything and everything possible. And I know there is unrest now in India. Muslims are tools to be used by these Chinese Communist Party, believe it or not. And many of them are stupid enough not to see that or understand that. But the Chinese Communist Party will use anyone to advance their agenda. And India has to actually act wisely. Act wisely. Anyway, at the very end, we have to be prepared to face what is to come. And once we are prepared, we have the upper hand. When we have the upper hand, we defeat this terrible ideology, whether it's socialism or Islam. Once this is done, the world will be in relative peace. I hope I covered everything, and we welcome your questions or comments. Thank you very much.